So it's another great day in the state of Kansas where temperatures are expected to reach in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Lucky for me, I get to go work on my cars and hopefully get some of this stuff together. But before I do any of that, I need to transfer all of my parts that I've ordered that have been sitting here at my apartment over to my new temporary shop. And it is quite a few parts. My roommate Allie was nice enough to let me store all my car parts in her room until she got back, so big shout out to you, Allie. Hopefully all the stuff's out of your way before you get back. I'm not completely sure what the plan's gonna be for working on the car today. I know that both cars are really dirty, especially the new shell that we have. I think one of the main things I might try to do is at least wash the car after I get all those parts over. There's just a lot of dirt and grime on the new 240 shell, so hopefully after we get that cleaned off, maybe I'll show you guys all the parts and my plans that I have laid out for this new shell. I have gotten something done today. I've spent about 2 hours just cleaning up this gauge cluster that is going to be put back into the car. Since this cluster was kind of out in the open, I had to take it all apart and clean every single little crevice in here with like 50 Q-tips, but looks okay now. It's got a few patches. Hopefully everything still works. Guess we won't know until we bolt it back into the car. Oh my goodness, guys. Been loading my car for the past half hour, and it's an absolute scorcher out there. So I'm gonna load up these last steering wheels and we'll see what the car looks like. Literally could not have packed this car with any more car parts if I wanted. This thing is filled to the brim. This is gonna be a fun ride. Don't recommend filling your car to the brim so that you can't see out windows. Call a friend with a truck. Although, all my friends with trucks are at work, so we're gonna make this work. Made it to the garage. It's a great place to work on a car, but we're gonna clean it up, move some things around, and make some room for all these parts in this new shell that I'm gonna be working on. Now let's go from this to this. I spent the entire afternoon and most of the beginning of the evening just clearing this garage out and getting all my parts situated. But it's getting pretty late. I'm not sure if I'll have time to unbox all these parts, but I figure I do have time to maybe walk around the car at least and show you guys what I plan to do with this car. So the body is an 89 hatch, completely stripped. A lot of interior parts missing, so I may have to source those from Carol or another car. When I was first searching for new shells, I was initially looking for a coupe, maybe with the sill fronts. I just wanted to change things up a little bit. The hatch is where my heart is, but I figured the coupe would be a good change of pace. I did have a coupe lined up, but that fell through. Luckily, this hatch pops up through the body shop that Carol was sitting at for the longest time. One of the workers' son had been holding on to this 240 for about 5 years. He'd been meaning to do something with it, but just never got around to it. And I guess you could call it a bit of a miracle that I just happened to have this motor over here that needs a new home because I just couldn't afford to fix Carol at this moment in time. So that's pretty cool. The body is in really good shape. It's painted in this factory hypnotic teal mica cyan color. So it's definitely different. And I do have to admit that the color immediately grew on me. So it's a good change of pace from this nice red that Carol had. There's no rust on it and the body is pretty intact. Other than this minor bend here. Maybe get a new headlight, new fender, or even just straighten that out. We should be good to go. Most of the time you never see an all-out paint job as far as 240s go, but I have to say that this was quite a surprise because the previous owner to the buyer that I bought it from, or the seller that I bought it from, painted not only the exterior but the interior the same color as well. And for sitting in a barn for 5 years, I'd say it held up pretty well. It's very dirty obviously, but I think once this cleans up, it's gonna look amazing, guys. Pretty pumped. A lot of interior bits missing. It even comes with the painted body kit. Look at all those parts. What's cool about this car is that the color is so unique, I was actually able to look up the paint code and the car and find the old for sale ad on an old forum called Zilvia.net. According to the ad, this car was last selling in Iowa around 2011, and according to Luke, the seller I bought this from, this car has been sitting ever since. Now what gets even better is after checking the Carfax on this vehicle, the history of the mileage came up to about 55,000 miles back in 2011, around the same time that this car stopped moving on its own power. So I think I scored really well. It's a really straight, clean body with no rust, that I've found so far. And it looks like it was well taken care of. Just looking at the old for sale ad, looking at the paint on the car, this car has had a lot of money put into it, and it's gonna have a lot more put into it again. I'm really excited about this build. One of the other things that this car has that really excites me is that it has a welded diff in it. Now the welded diff can be a bit of a curse and a bit of a blessing. I always wanted to get rid of the open diff in Carroll on my red S13, but I just never got around to it. The fact that this car has a welded diff might make the option of drifting a little more feasible for me. Now I'm not saying that I'm gonna go out and drift at every event that I come across because I don't have money for tires like that. However, it would be fun to kind of experiment with that and play around and see maybe where I can get. And I think once you guys see some of the parts that I have lined up for this car, you'll be just as excited to see where this build is gonna go. It really sucks that I had to crash my old 240 in order to get to this one here, but life has its reasons and we may never know them. But all we can do is just roll with the punches and work with what we have. And that's exactly what we're gonna be doing here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're as excited as I am about this build. As I've said before, let me know if there's anything at all that you guys wanna see down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.